yourself and the space that you want to control that you almost don't have time to get back. A defuse can come through in that time frame. So we will certainly see how that plays out. And now as we're getting into agent select, we do see Inox hovering the Cypher, which wouldn't be too big of a change for him, still on that intel gathering character. I like to think of Inox as a field marshal. He is a general commanding the troops from the behind the scenes area, you know, sitting back with the Killjoy, sitting back with the Cypher, giving the team information. And I don't want to make it sound like Inox isn't making plays, isn't, you know, getting his, getting his face dirty. You know, he's not afraid to really get in the muck. But Inox will be on some sort of intel gatherer. And we do see actually, we will correct that roster for the side of Big Frames. We said it would be reality. It is actually Jet picking up the Jet, as is fitting, as you would expect from someone with the tag Jet. Would be disappointing to see them on anything else, but we were able, lucky enough, I should say, to catch Big Frames early on. Jet had an excellent performance on the Jet earlier on, so we'll be looking to see that X factor coming through, as we do see Darley on the side of Trojan GG also locking in that Jet. So that will be a bit of a duel for the dual oppers on Trojan GG on Big Frames as we take a nice little stroll through the three-sided Haven.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be kind of weird if we said Jet on the Phoenix, you know, something like that. Would be a little weird.
It would just feel wrong.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. It would definitely feel wrong. So, I mean, it looks like someone's game might actually have crashed just before Agent Select finished up. So everyone put F in the chat to pay your respects. So we'll be getting that back up here momentarily, but for now we're going to be watching this fly-through of the three-sided map, as Dilly has said. His favorite map, by the way, Dilly G's favorite map of all time with the three-side map, kind of ridiculous.
Listen, I'm just not very good at math. It's a bit difficult for me to count as high as 3. I come from Counter-Strike. We only have to count to 2, and it's very easy for us. No, Haven, I will say, actually, Haven was one of my least favorite maps when the game first came out. Even compared to Split, I enjoyed Split a bit more than Haven. But what I will say is seeing teams like Big Frames play on Haven has certainly opened my mind to what is possible on this map. You will see Big Frames with some expert rotation, some expert team play here on this map, as this is a map they are wholeheartedly prepared for. This is very much Big Frames territory. And you have to wonder, while there is only, you know, so few maps to choose from, you have to wonder if teams really should start avoiding this map when they go against Big Frames.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we like to harp on this map that there's quite a few teams that kind of live in Haven. I mean, there was Flow State that we've seen come back from ridiculous deficits on this map and just come back with a huge...
Mystify as well, actually.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Mystify has had massive, not just wins, but comebacks on this map. So it is really swingy from half to half. But what I will say about that factor with Haven is it's not, at least, and I want to hear you chime in on this one.
Okay.
I don't think it's attack-sided or defending-sided. I think it is actually quite an even map. It is tricky for the defenders to handle those rotates on, you know, such a wide map. But I don't think the swinginess comes down to which team is on attack or which team is on defending. I think a big part of it has to do with these long corridors and how much space there is between sites, between where the attackers spawn, that the firepower advantages, the economic advantages are that much more exacerbated on this map. And so it will be interesting to see. We do have Trojan starting out on defense. And so that can be a nice way for them to start off the map, know how many rounds they need to secure on attack for them to take the win there in that second half. But, you know, we've made it, I think, abundantly clear they've really got their work cut out for them up against Big Frames here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Big Frames, like you've said, they're working on their three-peat here. They're trying to secure that third win in a row,
Yeah.
which is absolutely ridiculous in itself.
Yeah. What an achievement that would be as well, because the competition at the upper echelons of this tournament has gotten so tough that no one is guaranteed even a top 32 spot anymore.
Right.
We've seen some really surprising knockouts in groups in the last few weeks. So nothing is guaranteed in the VSS, and that makes Big Frame's run here all that much more impressive, as they have had to weather so many storms. They've had to overcome so many obstacles, including quite literally obstacle the team.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Frames took them out this week, and Big Frames are in the semifinals. Their eyes on the prize, their eyes on what could be the first ever three-peat here in the Valorant Sunday Showdown. In their way is the side of Trojan GG, starting out on defense.
Yeah, and I do have to give a quick shout out to Obstacle, because they made it really far with some new members on their roster. So, I mean, although they did lose out to Big Frames, that's a big roster to lose out to when you're pretty new on the field here. So shout out to them. But we are here with Big Frames versus Trojan GG, and there's already a ton of damage on Jet. But Jet's going absolutely wild right now with these cloud bursts, getting a ton of damage, a ton of information here, and Trojan GG already on the back foot with 3 members left alive, and Big Frames still have all 5.
Big Frames waste no time there, kicking down the door, taking over C-Site, really exploiting how slow the defenders are to rotate here. To no fault of the defenders, it's just that hard to maneuver around this map. Big Frames know where the pressure points are. They know how to take advantage. Trojan GG looking to try and destabilize these attackers, but they are finding no way in. Jet slams the door in the face of Trojan GG, and that's going to be a flawless round 1 going over to the attackers, Big Frames.
Absolutely. Big Frames definitely looking to put another Big Frame on their wall for a 3rd VSS trophy on that virtual trophy case, I guess you could say.
We got to start sending out like paper certificates, like you know, the opposite of a participation award, but you know, we'll start sending something out. But Big Frames here, as Choi said, looking to add that 3rd piece of hardware to their cabinet. And actually, we'll get into this round here. Firstly is Jet and Nerf already starting us off with some fireworks. 3 members of Big Frames combined for 3 kills. Cryocells gets his 2nd kill in the round, and Trojan GG without a snowball's chance in hell here in this 2nd round. Big Frames so dominant on this C side of the map. But what's so impressive for some of these members of Big Frames is this actually, they already have 3 titles in their pocket. Inox is a 3-time VSS winner. He had won previously with Blitz Gaming.
Right.
And now has 3 VSS titles after that Big Frames 2-peat there. So some of these members looking for their 4th victory even. Big Frames as a team looking for their 3rd, and already off to a massive start here.
Yeah, that's a really interesting note that you brought up there. I mean, Inox with 3 trophies already in the Valorant Sunday Showdown, that in itself is a feat. And so now looking to get the 3-peat here on 1 roster, which is ridiculous. I mean, man, it was really tough for Trojan GG that last round. I gotta say, I know what they were trying to do with Jets hanging out in the long cubby. Their members just fell to the guns of Big Frames, and that was a really unfortunate situation. So nothing intrinsic of like their gameplay in general, but Big Frames just kind of won out on a lot of those gunfights, and let's see if they do it again. They're a lot more methodical in this round, Dilly.
Well, I gotta say, Big Frames really with a conservative approach economically here to this 3rd round, understanding that the advantage, regardless of what Big Frames are putting together, the firepower advantage will be on Trojan's side for this 3rd round. Big Frames making their best of it here as they spill out onto the A side here for the first time on this map. We'll see if Trojan can try and put a stop to him as the spike goes down. Darley gets the action started here as the spike goes down, but it's going to be Cryocells finding the revenge onto Darley, bringing us into a 4v4 as Trojan get the retake started. They're trying to find an edge. They're trying to find a way in. Jet gets the kill into Toast, but Frizzy finds the trade onto Inox. Cryocells picks up his 2nd kill before going down, but it's going to be Alpha Fly, the lone defender remaining, as Jet takes his head off for the 3K. Trojan with a bit of life, with a bit of hope, ultimately snuffed out by the 7-0 Jet.
Yeah, I was literally just about to bring it up, Dilly. 7-0 right now? We're in round 4, and Jet is absolutely mopping the floor with Trojan GG at the moment. I mean, that flank through B was absolutely ridiculous. And if you saw on the minimap, I think he tried to get the knife in on the Sova, but had to pull out the Frenzy and finish him off there. But that was a really scary moment for Trojan GG.
I just have to vent about something personal in my life. I just recently lost a round of Valorant where I was the last member alive and I got knifed in the back.
Oh, no.
And I'm still kind of emotionally recovering from that. So don't want to see any knife kills here in the semifinals. Takes me back to a bad time as Trojan GG. They are in for a bad time themselves as Big Frames once again establishing such big control here over the map. It almost is indescribable as Frizzy gets a bit of a consolation kill on the rival breach. That may be all they're able to find as Jet lurks around the corner, finds the damage. Can Jet find the kill? Frizzy may not want to stick around to find out, but Cryo Cells on the flank, on the hunt, takes him down, and that's going to be 4 in a row for Big Frames.
I mean, I gotta say, Big Frames are looking so solid right now. Every push is clean.
Yes.
Every flank is clean. I mean, they're taking ground from Trojan GG that shouldn't be taken. I mean, Trojan need to be watching some of these angles that Big Frames are able to take just from walking. I mean, they're shift walking, and they're allowed to take a ton of ground from Trojan GG.
I mean, this is the discussion we had prior to this match starting, is do you even want to risk taking Big Frames to Haven, or do you just ban it away? And I think we are getting a rather concise answer with the first part of this first half, is that you need to take this map away from Big Frames. If it means you're going to Icebox, so be it. You can't be going to Haven up against Big Frames. Big Frames making that abundantly clear here, as now for what is, I believe, the first time in this match, a more spread approach to this 5th round.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the round that they're trying to really take some ground. They know there should be guns out on the field. They're trying to take it a little bit slower than usual here, but this time the Rolling Thunder's going to come out and actually stop the plant there, and Hooligan's going to take down Nerfed, and that is the spike down on the B site. This is going to be a little tough for Big Frames, but if they play it correctly, they could actually get it back in a big way.
Trojan GG need to stay alert here. This is their biggest opportunity to take a round that they've had thus far. Jet will be able to secure that spike once more, get away safely here as Trojan GG start to press the issue. Darley taking out the rival Jet with the op. That's going to be a big kill for the side of Trojan GG as they move themselves into a 4v3 as time ticks away. Darley for the double kill onto Cryo Cells. Darley for the triple kill onto SVL. Trojan GG have some life in them yet.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Trojan GG were giving up too much ground last round, but this time they held their ground and absolutely stopped Big Frames in their tracks with a flawless round, right? Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that's what we want to see from Trojan GG. They need to do those kind of pushes to keep Big Frames off of their sights.
Yeah, Big Frames now, this could be a very big turning point for them because they've got a lot of money in the bank still, but they need to mix up their pacing here as that spread approach, that spread offense did not pay off for them rather, up against the side of Trojan GG. And now Trojan GG, you can see, moving about with a bit more confidence here as they're able to send over one member way up that A corridor. And that's going to be so much information for the side of Trojan GG that they can really get set up for this C push that is almost certainly coming from Big Frames here. As we tick down to 1 minute and 10 seconds, Big Frames inching their way onto C site.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. If that Owl Drum picks up somebody, it's going to be really tough for them. Jet's actually going to be taken down from Fizzy, and that is a big member to take down. Now SBL returning the favor, but Alpha Fly is staying on it. But Darley, once again, is on the backside. And, oh, but this is really unfortunate for Darley. He is going to be spotted out from the hat by Big Frames. And there it is, Trojan GG. Probably going to be losing out on this round. But a good round for them in general. They took out 2 members. The Big Frames did a lot of damage, did a ton of economy damage just by, you know, hitting those shields in general. But Here it is. Hopefully saving the operator is Darley on the side of Trojan GG.
We do see a bit of a backstab coming in from Cryocells, but I think Darley's going to be able to dance away from that one. And that's exactly what Trojan GG needed to not happen is, ooh, Darley will find that consolation prize onto Nerfed there. We'll see if Cryocells can be quick enough to hunt Darley down. But that's exactly the kind of round that Trojan needed to win up against Big Frames. Oh, Darley in such a tough position will lose out to Cryocells. Cryocells showing the absolute maximum of Sova experience there, using that recon bolt to force a Darley into an inopportune position. It's going to be yet another round for Big Frames. And that's exactly the round that Trojan needed to win. They needed to show that not only can they deal with the aggression from Big Frames, but they can deal with the executes as well. And they showed not quite up to the task quite yet.
Yeah, that was a little tough. I have a feeling that Darley probably should have pushed up a little bit harder. I think he just got scared because he knew how buff big frames are, especially at taking ground. And so I feel like if Darley had pushed up a little bit harder and got into position there.
Oh, your wish maybe may come true here as Darley wasting no time getting into enemy territory. And he's going to be able to get himself quite a nice foothold there in this mid corridor. Oh, gets the info, gets the damage onto SVL, but won't be able to get the kill. Has to get an escape plan rather, but Frizzy will be able to capitalize with a kill onto SVL. Inox finds the revenge onto Alphafly.
That was actually huge for Frizzy there. He used the fact that they were hunting down Darley in that situation and was able to get that kill. Inox actually sees a couple of pixels from one of the members of Trojan. A little scary moment there. Darley doing some work.
Yeah, absolutely. Trojan still finding ways to be dangerous here in this first half. That's so important for them to keep their confidence rolling in the face of a sizable deficit that Big Frames have been able to put together. And once again, we see Big Frames, after giving away that early kill, they're not going to force their issue too much here. Hooligan, though, may make them wish they would have forced it a bit more as Hooligan's able to win out that trade over Inox. That's part of the Big Frames attack falling apart. Cryocells will eventually get the trade there, bringing us into a 3v3 as the spike goes down.
Wow, that was actually a really smart play from Inox. He put the, oh my goodness! Oh no! Whoa. He wasn't able to get the kill with the knives, and that's his knives gone in this situation. Darley almost wins out in the gunfight, but no, a good trade from Big Frames is just not going to be enough for Trojan, though. Toast is probably going to go down here in this situation. But, yeah, there it is.
Oh, Toast looking a little burned at the end of that 7th round there. It looked a little dicey for the side of Big Frames, but they held firm, they held strong on their map. And that is certainly to be expected of your current reigning back-to-back Valorant Sunday Showdown champions.
Once again, looking to put a 3rd trophy in the case here is Big Frames.
Cryocells having a monster of a game thus far, 10, 3, and 5. I had a bit of a conversation in chat before this of someone saying, you know, Cryocells got to go nuts for Big Frames. Well, Cryocells certainly knows how to deliver, not just deliver, but delivers in spades for Big Frames. And now Trojan back onto this eco round. Only a thrifty possible for them here. See if they can put it together. They do have a bit of an aggressive flank forming towards A. See how that pays off for them in the long run. Oh, it pays off absolutely zero as Inox picks up the double kill for Big Frames.
That's exactly what Big Frames needed to do. Have that lurk potential and absolutely put a stop to any sort of a weird flanking positions from Trojan GG. Once again, Big Frames looking how strong they are at taking ground from Trojan GG. They're just, it's theirs. It's all their ground. And they're just having a rollin' zahay with it, I guess you could say.
Big Frames certainly feeling good on their map. We do see the side of Inox there giving away a bit of a free kill to the lesser armed Trojan GG, but Big Frames nonetheless will get the spike down, will get set up here on A site. Here comes Trojan GG, and here comes SVL. Takes down Alphafly, and that's certainly going to be a wrench in the plans of Trojan.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in a situation like this. You have the Hunter's Fury. I mean, you've got the utility from Frizzy. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing you could do. You have to kind of hang back and take the econ hit from saving. And this is a really bad decision. Well, not really decision from Trojan, but they have a gun. I mean, they're not going to get as much econ from saving.
Yeah, and that's an adjustment we've seen within the last few weeks, is that econ adjustment of surviving a loss really is detrimental to how much income you're able to generate. So Trojan, as you said, taking a bit of a hit there. We do see, once again, they will be able to put together a semblance of a full buy. We see Toast picking up the Ares for the second time here in this game. A bit of a confusing gun purchase there, but it is one of those purchases that if it pays off big.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gonna have to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, if they can fill up the C site with smokes and get some recon dart action, but no, he's going fishing with this Hunter's Fury, getting a lot of econ or a lot of information in this situation. Not any kills, but a little bit of damage and some good information. They know where they're at, and now here comes the, oh my gosh, the commitment onto the C site.
Trojan GG ready for it this time as Toast snipes down SVL with that shock dart. A big opening here for Trojan GG as they try to deal with this execute from Big Frames. But Trojan, they were all set up to win here, and Alpha Fly clutching it out as of right now. Picks up the double kill as Big Frames try to push around him. It's going to be Alpha Fly with a triple kill, with a quadra kill, with the clutch. Alpha Fly, the alpha male on Trojan GG, delivers a second round to the defenders.
Haha, and just like you said, Dilly, that's the round they really needed to win. They were on a pitiful bye. It was looking really destitute for them at the moment, but now their econ is going to be a little bit better. They can buy in this situation. You do see a Bulldog, which can bite if it's in the right hands.
Absolutely.
So hopefully Trojan GG can pull off another crazy round as Big Frames are still able to get a beautiful buy in their hands.
Jet briefly considered the Phantom there, but has now gone for the op. Big Frames looking to inflict maximum damage here on Trojan. And it's exactly as you said, that was a round Trojan needed to win. They had 3 members set up on C-Site. To give that away would have been a travesty for Trojan GG, but Jet looking to deliver more bad news to Trojan GG with that opening kill. It's going to make the job of defending 3 sites that much harder with only 4 defenders.
He can't find the camera in that situation. Oh, there it is. Hooligan's going to be able to spot him out, but not going to be able to really do much in that situation. Does get the information, moves out here, knows that there's going to be a tripwire in that situation, but that's a lot of info, and now they're going to have to take this Thorn out of their side, but no, Hooligan's going to continue being that pressure on Big Frames in this situation, but no, he's going to move off towards the B site, and this might actually be a free C site plant for Big Frames.
See how quickly Big Frames can take advantage of this free C site. They've got themselves Hooligan now with his eyes turned in the right direction. Will take a fair bit of damage as he also sends some damage towards SVL. Trojan in a 4v4, health bars looking rather equal. This could be a good opportunity for them to show they are dangerous on the retake, but they've got to make it stick here on C side as Big Frames back away to safety. Oh, there is a flank in the works coming out from Nerfed. We'll see if Trojan can push forward soon enough, and that's going to be an excellent kill coming in from Frizzy, eliminating the op threat, and now Trojan can get themselves set up for the defuse. Oh, but here comes Big Frames. They are ready for it. Alpha Fly eats that Hunter's Fury for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hooligan picks up the double kill, but that's going to be Cryo Cells. Oh, no!
Yeah,
the defuse stuck through. I didn't expect it. I did not expect that, and neither did Big Frames. The defuse coming in clutch for Trojan GG.
Yeah, that was really tough. I mean, I saw what Nerfed was trying to do with that ultimate teleport. He's trying to get on the backside there, give himself enough room to not be heard, but he didn't rotate fast enough because there were 3 members of Trojan on the C side defusing, and that Hunter's Fury, it's just not enough to be able to take down that many members of Trojan GG.
Yeah, Cryo Cells is good, but he's not that good. Can't do anything that unrealistic. Big Frames still with a large lead here, but giving away a little bit of ground to Trojan GG as we start to move ourselves towards that second half. Every round becomes that much more important here. Trojan need to get themselves in a favorable position to move on to that attacking side. Big Frames looking to once again press their advantage. We see a big push coming from Trojan on the C side of the map, so that will be a lot of intel. We'll see if their members can get that flank ready in time as Big Frames take control of the A side. Trojan forced to back away here. 2 members ready to go, and a big flank of 3 coming around the backside.
Yeah, hopefully they're going to be able to make it in time. I mean, those 3 members are going to have to push up a little bit faster than the way they're doing. But, I mean, they're going to be met with the operator of Jet. But no, he's looking the wrong way at the moment. Frizzy's going to be able to take out Cryo Cells in the backside, but here it is. Jet's going to be ready for this. Here comes a ton of information, a ton of utility. He's going to take down Alpha Fly, and this is going to be tough. No, he misses his shot.
Oh, wow. This is crazy from Big Frames. Trojan GG have done absolutely everything they can to try and unstick this sight hold, but Big Frames are just too good. They are just too secure. Jet comes up big on A long. Big Frames hold the site really well. Inox did really well to shut down that retake from Trojan, and that's going to be an 8th round. Going over to your repeat, back-to-back, reigning champions, Big Frames.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Frames looking clean on this first half. One thing I want to see on the second half on the defender side for Big Frames is SVL bringing it up a little bit more. I'm not seeing as many assists as I want to see from that breach agent. But I know on the defense side, it's kind of easier to set up some of those flashes, because if you can know where a push is coming from, get a flash out there, and then a nice crossfire. I mean, that's huge if you're a breach player.
We're a bit spoiled, I think, when we watch someone like SVL, because we're so used to, getting towards the end of the first half, and SVL's got like 18 assists. And so to only have 5, SVL, come on. But no,
come on,
Big
man.
Frames still putting together a very strong performance, as is expected of this team. See if they can carry it through to the end, and Jet shows no signs of stopping, takes down the rival Jet in the form of Darley. That's going to make Frizzy's job all that much more difficult. Does have a bit of support there in Garage in the form of Alpha Fly with that good angle up onto boxes. Big Frames still taking their time managing this advantage.
Yes, this is going to be a nice, slower round for Big Frames. They know there's some big guns on the side of Trojan GG. They have 1 member down on the side of Trojan GG, but still, there are some fantastic players on the other side. So they got to be really methodical in this situation. Big Frames looking to do a big B push here. Might actually be the right time to do it here. There's no one here at the moment. And here it is, the commitment onto the B site. That's going to be the spike down, but Frizzy could actually get a nice aftershock into that little corner. But no, he's not going to push up. He's going to wait for his teammates. And here it is, an interesting flank and decision from Trojan GG.
Yeah, Trojan know they've got to be so careful here. Here comes Alpha Fly around the corner. Gets down nerfed. Oh, so close to picking up the double, but the crossfire from Inox and Cryocells was just too good. Frizzy will find a bit of damage here onto Inox. Won't be able to find the kill. And that's going to leave Hooligan, the last member remaining. That's going to be Cryocells picking up the triple kill. Big Frames close out the first half, 9-3.
I love that spray. You got the teddy bear with the glasses on and a nice slice of cake. I mean, he's feeling good
right now. It's a happy
right
place.
Yeah.
It's a happy place.
Absolutely. He's feeling good right now. Now here is the switch, though. Trojan GG now on the attack, and hopefully they can kind of bring up a little more strategery, a little more aggressiveness. Winning out on some of those gunfights, that's what I want to see from Trojan GG in this situation. They have the wherewithal to be able to do it, but Big Frames is a big titan in their way.
Yeah, I mean, I just try to apply all of the brain power I have. What little of it is left, I try to apply that to the problem of how do you deal with cryocells? And I'm not coming up with a clear answer, because cryocells has done excellently to enable himself with that Sova kit, with the intel he gathers, and not just the intel, but the damage cryocells puts out with the shock darts, with the Hunter's Fury. It's been a big problem here for Trojan, and that's going to be a major key to bringing this back for Trojan, is somehow putting cryocells down. But as of right now, cryocells shows no signs of stopping, gets that massively important intel for the side of Big Frames, as here comes Trojan GG on the pistol round, on the push, moving out onto A site. They will be able to establish control here. Will they be able to get the spike down?
Oh, this is going to be a really interesting situation on the backside there. Jet's going to be able to take down Toast, but he's going to be traded out from Alphafly. But that is a 4v3 in the favor of Trojan GG. Oh my gosh, members are falling all over the place. What's going to happen in this situation, Dilly? I just don't know.
Oh my goodness, Darley with a big opportunity there, gets the kill onto Inox's. Cryocells is brought exceedingly low. Both Cryocells and SVL looking so rough on the HP bars. This very well could be a 4th round for the side of Trojan. SVL with a big task on his shoulders, won't be able to win it out. Will be Darley with the 3K, delivering a very important round to Trojan GG.
And that's what I'm talking about. I needed them to be a little more aggressive in some of their pushes, actually win some of those really important gunfights. Because, I mean, they've been winning gunfights, but the really integral, important gunfights they've been kind of losing out to. I mean, Big Frames kind of pulls them out of nowhere, really. And now Trojan GG looking good on this side of the path.
Yeah, in the one round that we've had, Trojan has had a successful second half thus far. We'll see if they can parlay that first round win into some more. Big Frames now with a difficult task of trying to hold off. Trojan is now Trojan with this firepower advantage, capable of a lot of damage. See how it all comes together for them. Trojan taking their time. They understand they will not be able to just go as they please. They know Big Frames, regardless of the tools in hand, capable of some really impressive plays. It's Big Frames here, staying hidden, not giving over any intel, not giving away any sort of advantage to Trojan. And that's going to be Trojan making a play over towards Garage now, running right into Inox. He's got that camera available, has the cage out for good measure. Oh, Inox does a good job of staying hidden, but Alphafly wins out in the end, and here comes the C execute from Trojan. Cryocells trying to find some damage there from window, won't be able to this time, and that's going to be a spike plant for Trojan.
Spike planted.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, some of these pushes have looked so buff from Trojan GG on the attacker side. I mean, like, this must be their side that they feel really comfortable with. Frizzy going to be able to take one down, but no, I mean, it is a 1v4 situation in the favor of Trojan GG, and SVL just has 0 HP, basically.
I think he has 0 interest in trying to retake here.
Exactly. I mean, there's literally no reason to at this moment, besides the eco. So he is going to moon boot his way on over here and be met with the Bulldog of Toast.
Oh, goodness, Toast. You can't give me a heart attack like that. I was so worried that spray was going to go wide and SVL would somehow win out with the classic, but Toast puts an end to that, takes down SVL for good measure, and now Big Frames, this is a prime opportunity for them to start working on sealing this game. But if they drop this round, it is not at all inconceivable to see Trojan GG mounting that comeback and tying us up.
Yeah, not inconceivable at all. I mean, like, you're hitting the nail right on the head there, Dilly. It's looking really good for Trojan on this side of the half, like I said earlier. But I mean, once again, we've got some real big guns on the side of Big Frames now. Hopefully they can use those to their advantage.
Oh, SVL almost got caught out of position. Will be able to take out Darley before losing out to Toast here. Trojan GG with the push forward, bring themselves into a 4v3, getting the kill into Cryocells, a all-important kill to get as Nerf goes down on site to Alphafly, and that's going to bring Big Frames into a 2v4 in a round that they absolutely did not want to give away.
Yeah, no, not at all. They've got all of the rifles in hand. Oh, the elbow was sticking out there for Frizzy. That was a little unfortunate. Sends in the fault line and the blind. But, oh no, this is just looking way too bad for Big Frames. He is spotted out with the camera. And he's going to be taken down from Hooligan. And wow, Trojan GG is a completely new team on this side of the half, on the attacker side.
They looked a bit unsure of them on the defending side. They were a bit unsure of how to deal with the pressure that was being applied by Big Frames, but Trojan have absolutely flipped the script here in the second half. They're the ones applying the pressure. They're the ones pressing their foot on the gas pedal. And now Big Frames with a bit of a task here to figure out a way to try and deal with this attack on the defending side. You can see Big Frames now in this eco round. The biggest thing they're bringing to this 16th round is a stinger. We'll see if they can convert that into a thrifty or if it's going to be Trojan who keep on rolling here in the second half.
Lots of noises being made on this side here, so there's going to be a nice crossfire setup, but no, Alpha Fly is going to take down Nerf. That's a really unfortunate situation for Big Frames. But you still have Jet hanging down by the... Oh my goodness, what? Dilly, what just happened?
Toast just gave Cryocells a little bit of a lesson in shock darts. Toast said, "You're good with shock darts?" "No, I'm good with shock darts." Snipes down the rival Sova, and that's a massive opening here for Trojan GG. This could be bad news for Big Frames. SVL tries to get a pick there, but it's going to be Alpha Fly and Darley combining for the 2 kills on A site, leaving Jet as the lone defender remaining here for Big Frames. Peeks around the corner, loses out to Hooligan. That's a flawless round for Trojan GG, and that's them bringing down what was a 5-round deficit down to 2.
Wow. In the span of 4 1-rounds in a row. I mean, I could see it from pistol round. They were a totally new team on this side. I mean, the attacker side is just looking too buff on the side of Trojan GG, but now Big Frames, I mean, they have a buy in the hand. I really hope Jet can get some crazy plays with this operator, but I mean, this is kind of their last-ish chance to really put a stop to them. And there it is. That's what I was looking for.
Jet making the most of every pixel on the screen. Takes down 1, now looking for more. Oh, Nerf, though, on the opposite side, loses out to Darley, and that's tragic here for Big Frames. They can absolutely not afford to give these kills away. As you said, this is Big Frames' last opportunity to try and wrap this one out, or they're going to have to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow here with Trojan GG. If they give this round away, this is very much a do or die moment for your reigning VSS champions.
Yeah, and this is semifinals, so this is best of 1. They have this one chance, one shot, really, to get to the grand finals again for the 3rd week in a row. They're going to have to pick it up here on the defender side on Haven.
No doubt about that. Big Frames starting to feel the pressure mounting. They've got to come alive here in the second half sooner rather than later. But meanwhile, here comes the execute from Trojan GG out onto A site. All of the utility ringing out, but that's going to be a lot of intel for Big Frames to work with here as they try and unstick Trojan GG. Now trying to put together this retake. Here comes Cryocells, loses out to Darley. Darley gets traded out. SVL and Jet combining for 2 massive kills, brings Big Frames into a 3v2. Can they hold off Alpha Fly?
Whoa.
Oh, the answer so far is no. Can they put him down quite yet?
Oh my
No.
goodness.
Alpha Fly stays alive, takes down Jet, and now just SVL in the 1v2 as the clock ticks down against him. SVL so close to finding that first kill, but he's gonna be Alpha Fly's 3rd kill. Trojan GG within 1 round of Big Frames.
What an absolute clutch from Alpha Fly. And there it is, putting the nail in the coffin in Big Frames Econ. That is a really tough situation. I mean, look at this buy. You see a Marshall possibly, you see a Stinger, some Sheriffs. Once again, Trojan are a totally different team on the attacker side.
Yeah, Big Frames, they really, unfortunately, need to start putting some pressure onto SVL, onto Nerf. This is the side of the map where you really need to be having SVL making the most of his kit, making the most to fend off these pushes. It's not working out for him thus far. He's got to turn it around here in the second half as Trojan GG looks set to run away with this half as Big Frames unable to find a round. Will they be able to even find a kill here?
I don't know. SVL almost got caught out there. I mean, a beautiful headshot from SVL, but is he going to be able to do much more? No, he's put a stop to by Alphafly. Toast putting another nail in this coffin here. Alphafly getting some more kills here. And my goodness, Inox is going to be taken down, and it is just Jet alive. Just kidding. It's just Trojan GG. And they just tied it up for the first time in quite a few rounds.
Trojan GG have done everything absolutely perfectly right here in this second half. They have stormed away with this half, putting 6 rounds in a row. And not only that, they have completely shut down cryocells. Toast providing the answer as to how you shut down cryocells. You just out-Sova him. You put him down with the shock darts. You spot him out with the recon bolts. And Big Frames here. Now they've run out of chances to win this game in commanding fashion. Oh, and they could be running out of chances to win it, period, as Toast, with the dueling Hunters Furies, wins out over cryocells. And Big Frames, on what could be one of their last full buys, find themselves in a 4v5.
That's exactly what you said earlier, Dilly. It's the Sova diff on this side of the half. Trojan GG looking to put it all on the table and win it all against Big Frames. This is going to be a really tough loss for them if they do in this situation, but they do have some guns in their hand. Trojan GG are pushing up towards the B side, but no, Big Frames are kind of in an amorphous push here, trying to get something done, any sort of intel on their side, but there it is. They might actually know where they're at, but this is an unfortunate situation, Dilly.
Big Frames looking a bit lost here on this defending side. We said this is one of Big Frames' best maps. We see them perform so highly on this map, so to see them giving away so many rounds, to see them giving away this C site is a shock to the system. But Trojan GG delivering that shock in an expert fashion here in this 5v3. Big Frames with nearly zero hope here of retaking this site, and they're just going to back off. They're going to have these rifles live to fight another day.
That's exactly what they need to do. Keep the operator in hand. There's 3 members left alive. That's a good enough reason to save. I mean, with the new econ changes, you get 1,000. I'm pretty sure it's just 1,000 credits if you save and lose, which is a tough situation. But if you have 3 members left alive, especially one with an operator, that's I'm trying to do math in my head, but that's really hard. That's almost 11,000 credits you're saving in general.
Yeah, as well as you can see the full armor still intact there on SVL. Really important things to be carrying through these rounds. And Big Frames, they have been completely lost here in the second half. They've now delivered 7 rounds into the hands of Trojan GG. Trojan GG with an absolute stunner of a performance here in the second half. Trojan GG are 3 rounds away from dethroning Big Frames.
Man, Alphafly was not doing good on the first half, and now he is on top of it all with 21 frags. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times already, but this is a totally new team on the attacker side for Trojan GG. So hopefully Big Frames can kind of, you know, I don't know, turn it around.
It's that hunter mentality coming out from Trojan GG. They waste no time pushing forward here onto Big Frames once again, starting to secure their position onto A. Here comes that pinch through. See if Alphafly can win out this trade, but he loses out to Nerf. In terms of damage, here comes Nerf back around the corner. Nerf will find that kill into Darley. Nerf finds the kill into Alphafly. A big opening double kill there for Big Frames. That's going to put Trojan GG to a stop here on the A side.
I know exactly. I think this is the first time that Big Frames has been like on the positive side for the, like this
literally the
half.
entire half. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. This is one of the first, if not the first, advantage that Big Frames has had here in the second half. They've certainly got to make the most of it here. Cryocells holding firm onto A site as here comes the execute. Here comes the Rolling Thunder. Completely unsticks Cryocells. Hooligan able to take him down now, and that brings us into a 3v3 as the spike goes down. Here comes Inox, wasting no time trying to retake. Will get the kill onto Frizzy. SVL follows up with a kill onto Hooligan. Now Toast, the lone Trojan remaining. Could this be Big Frames tying us up at 10?
I don't know. Got the wooden horse out there, but no, they're not going to fall for it this time. They're going to burn it down to the ground, and this is the first round for Big Frames in the second half, tying it up to 10-10. This is a scary, scary matchup.
Yeah, Big Frames, this is certainly not the second half they were expecting to have or hoping to have for sure. Big Frames, they've stumbled out of the gate here in the second half, but have finally got themselves a bit of a foothold to work with, picking up that 10th round. And now both of these teams equidistant from closing this match out, equidistant from punching their ticket to the grand finals. Big Frames, if you're just joining us here in the Valorant Sunday Showdown, Big Frames is our current reigning back-to-back champions. They're the second team, I believe, to win two VSS titles overall. One of the first, I believe, to win back-to-back, correct?
Yeah, Elysium was the first to win back-to-back.
Okay, and so Big Frames would be the second team to win back-to-back, and Big Frames with a opportunity to not just be the first team to three-peat here in the VSS, but the first team to pick up 3 titles total. This is a massive step forward for any team, and Big Frames, they are on the precipice of achieving that goal. In their way is Trojan GG, and in their way has been this massive performance from Trojan GG in the second half. They have experienced quite the renaissance, and so Big Frames, now with some work on their plate, they have got to figure out what mix-ups they can bring here on this attacking side to try and build some sort of momentum against Trojan GG, who have absolutely surged away with this second half.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be the aggression. I mean, that's one thing that really put a stop to Trojan on the defender side, was their aggression was rewarded almost every single time with at least 1 or 2 frags immediately. And that's what put Trojan on the back foot throughout the entire first half. But I mean, it's totally been, the script has totally been flipped. Trojan are now putting a stop to Big Frames with these really aggressive pushes. And I have a feeling that it's going to be really tough for Jet here. Going to get really aggressive here with the Owl drone. But not going to be the push that Big Frames hoped for. But they still have the operator in hand.
Yeah, Trojan GG gotta find that perfect balance of pace between all-out aggression and intel gathering. They can't storm into sites blind, but at the same time, they can't give Big Frames to adapt their game plan to what Trojan GG is doing. Trojan GG need to seize the moment. And right now, what we see happening here in this 21st round is Big Frames giving themselves a really good idea of where Trojan GG is at, and it pays off in spades. Nerfed with that big kill on Darley through the smoke is going to be able to get away from there completely safe. An excellent opening kill for Big Frames, and that's exactly what these defenders need to try and put a stop to the onslaught from Trojan.
Oh my gosh. That was a sketchy teleport, but Nerf stays alive, puts in the... Oh my gosh, this is perfect, but no, he misses his shots and toast. He's going to be able to take down Nerf. That's going to be a huge thorn in their sides. Cryocells, though, evening up the playing field. It is a 3v3 situation right now, but no, Cryocells is just too dang good with the 4K, bringing him up to 11-10.
Sova diff. That is what it's about here in this semifinals match. These Sovas have been absolutely coming alive, and Cryocells putting on a show for the fans at home here today. 21, 13, and 5. Absolutely MVP material. A former HyperX MVP of Grand Finals. Now, once again, putting a top of the charts performance together here for Big Frames, and it looked so dire, it looked so desperate for Big Frames here in this second half, but regardless, they have gotten themselves 2 rounds away from their 3rd Grand Finals in a row.
Oh, that was a beautiful ult orb for Cryocells, the former HyperX MVP, like you were talking about. Now he's got that Hunter's Fury. If he can actually get some ridiculous info from that Hunter's Fury, that could be match point for Big Frames.
Oh, wow. Trojan, they are playing a very dangerous game, and Jet gives them a very clear reminder of who they're messing with. Jet with the double kill, with the turn on to Toast. That's going to be Big Frames with a big lead here in the 22nd round. Big Frames have stood tall on C-side, leaving just Frizzy remaining. Frizzy gets mowed down by SVL, and Big Frames on match point.
I think Big Frames finally figured out Trojan's pushes.
Yeah.
They figured out their strats, and now they're punishing them for it. And it is looking dire for Trojan at this moment. If they keep pushing the same way they have been, they are going to be annihilated by Big Frames. But Trojan, like I said, I mean, they're a fantastic team. And, I mean, they're a whole new team on this attacker side, so we can just see some ridiculous strats we haven't seen yet. But it's going to be a tough one for them for sure.
Yeah, Big Frames now have taken 3 rounds in a row to get themselves on the match point. And it's exactly what you said. It's the adaptation coming through from Big Frames. They adjusted their gameplay. They adjusted their style to meet the challenge that Trojan GG was putting up. And now Big Frames with a golden opportunity to close this match out. And that's what sets apart a grand finals team from a semifinals team, is that adaptation. And Big Frames with the winning adaptation thus far. See how it plays out as Trojan GG inching their way towards B are gonna get pinched in here from Big Frames if they're not careful.
Yeah, they're taking a little bit too long, and there it is. A lot of information. They know they're all mid. They're gonna have to find something different in this situation. SVL might actually come to terms or come to fisticuffs with this Hooligan, and there it is. Hooligan's gonna take him out, and that is big information for him. Oh my goodness, a little too much for the side of Big Frames, and now it is a 5v3 situation.
Trojan GG have life in them yet. They are storming away with this round as it is a 5v3 as they set up the spike. Big Frames look absolutely powerless to try and stop them. Have Trojan GG figured out the adaptation here from Big Frames? They are peeling this defense apart. Just Cryocells remaining in a 5v1. Cryocells will be lucky to escape this with his life, let alone a round win.
Oh, unfortunate for Hooligan in that situation, but now he knows where someone else is, so he's going to try and get at least a little bit of information, some exit frags in this situation. So now it's going to be a 12-11, still in the favor of Big Frames, but Trojan, like I said, kind of changed up their strats, and now they're looking buff again.
I got to be careful with my next words because the caster curse is certainly in play. You know, I might not even mention team names at this point.
Yeah.
I just got to say this has been an amazing boxing match of a game that we've had. Big Frames stormed away with the early part of this game, and Trojan GG struck right back in the second half. Got so many rounds in a row to bring themselves to this point. Now they've got to get just one more. Send this on into overtime. Trojan GG carefully plotting their approach. Meanwhile, Big Frames, they have held back. They are not forcing any aggression across the map.
That's exactly what they need to do. They need to be really slow and methodical in this situation. They can't lose out another round to Trojan GG. We might actually go into overtime, but here it is. Nerfed is actually getting really aggressive at the right time. He's going to take down Alpha Fly, and that's going to be a huge member taken down for Trojan GG, already looking in dire straits.
Yeah, that's really bad news for the likes of Trojan GG, and you can see that that has sparked the fire for them. They have now know they've got to go, go, go. Here comes the push. Hooligan opens up the action onto Inox. That's a big open door now for Trojan GG to establish themselves onto the A site. Here comes the Hunter's Fury from Cryocells. What can he find? Cryocells finds big damage, but it's going to be Hooligan finding yet another kill onto Big Frames, giving Trojan GG the 4v3. Can Big Frames get themselves onto site here as Trojan GG start to set up, but they haven't brought out the spike yet. They haven't brought out the plant, And this shows how carefully these teams are playing. And now Frizzy will move forward. He has the safety to get that spike down. And now Big Frames with it all to do on this retake. There's the Blade Storm from Jet is popped, ready to go. How can Trojan GG deal with this retake? Here it comes. They're going to deal with it handedly. There goes 2 kills, leaving just Cryocells now in a 1v2, but he's got full armor. He's got full health. Cryocells with the peek. Now in a 1v1, can he find where Toast is hiding?
This might be the Sova diff situation that we were talking about. This is a 1v1. Cryocells versus Toast. Who's going to win out? And it looks like it's going to be Toast, bringing it into overtime.
Absolute tragedy for Cryocells is victory for Trojan GG. It looked all but set for Big Frames to move on to the grand finals, but Trojan GG stick their foot in the door. They said, not so fast. Trojan GG bring us to a tie game here at 12-12, and now we are in overtime. Win by 2, rules in effect.
My heart is racing at the moment, Dilly G. I mean, that was a crazy 1v1 situation. Toast clutched it out for his team. I mean, overtime is their best chance for the win here. I mean, but Big Frames, they're now on the defender side? Attacker side,
Yeah, Big Frames now attacking, switching off the defending side. You have to imagine so much pressure here on Big Frames. They had to have thought that this was their game to take, but now they've got more work in front of them. Darley gives them even more with that massive collateral double kill, and that's going to make this round so tough for Big Frames.
Oh, no. It's looking dire for them at the moment. Darley is in such a good position. Toast takes down Inox, and that is a 2v5 situation.
Almost no hope for Big Frames remaining. It looks like this one will move on to the 25th. Here is Cryocells will find a bit of hope getting a kill onto Toast, but it's Darley who puts him down for the triple kill. Now SVL, the lone Big Frames member remaining in this 1v4. So much to do. Walks right into that spray, and that's going to be Darley picking up the 4K, and that's going to be Trojan GG taking the lead.
Switching sides.
This is a semifinals match. My goodness, Big Frames on their way to a three-peat might actually get stopped by Trojan GG in their tracks. This is going to be huge. If Big Frames can't win this out, that's the end of their winning streak. That's it.
Oh man, the pressure is certainly mounting here for Big Frames. The one crumb of comfort they may be finding is that they aren't on the defending side, but the defending side certainly did not work out well for them here in regulation play. They're going to have to make it work here in overtime. Inox, the lone defender on that C side, backs away, has the camera there, will be able to spot out the push from Trojan GG, but here it comes nonetheless. Here it comes, the attackers onto C site. Just Inox on there, gets taken out by Darley. An excellent start for the attackers to get themselves this win here in the 26th round. Big Frames in a 4v5 as the spike goes down. Here comes the retake.
And the retake, they're going to have to do it. And, I mean, with a solid hold from Trojan GG, Darley in this corner right next to the spike. I mean, that's exactly where Darley needs to be. And there it is. Oh, my goodness. We might actually see the end here of Big Frames. Oh, no. Their three-peat run has been put a stop to by Trojan GG. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. What a crazy back and forth.
Wow, massive congratulations are due for Trojan GG. That was an epic performance, not just in the second half, or not just in the first half where they weathered that storm, went down 9-3, but still undeterred, brought it all the way back to 10-10 there in the second half and clutched out. I mean, Big Frames were up 12-10 at one point. Big Frames were one round away from the chance at the three-peat, and Trojan stood tall. Trojan won out in overtime, a 14-12 victory for the side of Trojan, showing not just talent, not just raw aim, but mental fortitude, mental stamina here from Trojan GG, and that gives them the edge over your back-to-back, no longer reigning Valorant Sunday champions.
A little unfortunate for Big Frames, but here it is. Hooligan looking buff on top of it all. 12-17-3 with that 238 combat score. I got to say, I mean, like, Big Frames did bring it to him, that's for sure. I mean, that's why the match MVP's combat score isn't like through the roof or anything. But once again, a Cypher on top of it all is a scary agent to be on top, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's just not enough that can be said here about Trojan GG. This was a stellar performance from one of the more, I wouldn't say they're newcomers at this point, but certainly one of the fresher teams here in the Valorant Sunday Showdown in terms of experience, showing up here with a big statement on the big stage up against big frames. So impressive from Trojan GG. They will be moving on into the grand finals, and it does look like on the other side of the bracket, Phoenix 1 took their match 15-13.
Wow.
Absolute barnstormer of a match there as well. And that's going to be Phoenix 1 up against Trojan GG there in the grand finals, the best of 3. We will be moving into that ASAP, but beforehand, we're going to take a short few minute break, catch our breaths after that one, and we'll be right back with grand finals.